Today marks the 20th anniversary of the Game Boy Advance's launch. It was released in Japan on March 21st, 2001. This was, and still is, an awesome little handheld. So in celebration, I will be focusing on Japanese games for the next 2 weeks. Don't worry, because in June, the North American anniversary, I'll look at our stuff too. Now then, this first video is about pure Japanese releases I wish were in English. Then, in part 2, I will play 5 more Japanese games that weren't released over here officially, but were patched into English by fans. Sound good? Let's begin then by taking a look at an actual launch game for the Game Boy Advance, Monster Guardians. It's an RTS RPG from Konami. There is a lot of story up front, which of course I could not understand, but after that, it was all battles. The design aesthetic falls very much in line with a future Game Boy Advance game, Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. There's a world map, select a dot on it to either go into your party or dive into a battle. As either a male or female, which you choose at the beginning along with an element to follow like water, you control a group of monsters. I use the word control there loosely because both the enemy monsters and yours all act on AI. Sometimes they attack, sometimes they just brush past each other. It was honestly like trying to watch a group of turtles race in big quotation marks. You can issue commands, which helped me a little bit, but the AI was still a little wonky. Add on to the fact that everything was in Japanese, and well, I was pretty lost. Either way, I do want to play more of this if it ever gets a fan patch, let alone an official English release. Hoping to get any game from Konami anytime soon is, pretty funny, right? Moving on, we have Shin Megami Tensei Devil Children Messiah Riser, which launched on November 4th, 2004. It is also an RTS, although you have a lot more control over your movements. It seems like you're given the power to summon demons. Crazy for an SMT game, right? Anyway, whoever your summoner is, which changes between battles that happen in a linear progression, they can summon monsters into battle. Unlike the other game though, they actually can fight. You begin with just being able to summon 4 monsters, then, like any normal RTS, you click on your characters, command them to do everything from moving to attacking to using specials, and so on. You can also highlight everyone on screen to move. It seems like a cool idea for the series, but the cramped nature of the map due to the Game Boy Advance's screen size did make it hard to navigate. That said, even in Japanese I got pretty far, so it's at least somewhat approachable. Moving on, we have Slime MoriMori Dragon Quest Shogeki no Shippuden, launching on November 14th, 2003. This was the first of 3 slime-focused action games spun off from the Dragon Quest series, if that wasn't obvious. We did get the sequel, titled Rocket Slime here in 2006 on the DS, but we did not get the third and final release on 3DS in 2011. All these games play virtually the same. You're an adorable little slime out to rescue your buddies from a calamity. You stretch your body to attack things or grab onto things, but the more you go on, also the more you unlock, like being able to go underneath the ground. So you go out to the hub world, collect your friends locked away in chests. By doing this, you will slowly rebuild your town. Oh, and you fight baddies along the way. Wash your hands, repeat. I think the controls are a bit awkward, even on the DS version, where stretching made more sense with the touch controls, but the graphics and music are amazing, so much so that the bizarre controls didn't really hurt me that much. So, not only do I want this game officially released in America, or patched here, whatever, I want that 3DS game too. Make a Switch collection or something. Get on it, Square Enix. I'm watching you. Okay, let's move on to Granbo, launching on December 28th, 2001, so presumably the last game of the launch year. It's Pokemon crossed with Mega Man, which makes sense since this is a Capcom game. You begin the game with 3 choices of a robot companion, either a chick, a bigger bird, or a dog. I picked the dog because it was red and looked like Rush from Mega Man, which was probably, not an accident on Capcom's part. So, unlike Pokemon, you go around a world map and enter areas just like in more traditional RPGs from this time. Battles are randomly generated and aren't one-on-one standoffs, and can instead feature multiple enemies. What's more, you can't even capture monsters until after the first dungeon. You can then use a glove to catch monsters, or robots, whatever they are. Here's the weird thing about this party system. Even though random battles can have multiple robots, you can only use one at a time. What's more, if that robot dies in battle, even if you have a whole party of healthy robots in the wings, it's still game over and back to town. At least you don't lose progress, but it's still very bizarre. Overall, I think it is a cool mix of game ideas with another great line of sprites and colors on the Game Boy Advance. Alright, our last game is at the top of my wish list, Tomato Adventure. It launched on January 25th, 2002 and was developed by Alpha Dream. They were a smaller company right up until Nintendo hired them to make Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, a fantastic RPG on the Game Boy Advance. A lot of that game's charm can be directly linked to this based on the visuals, humor, and gameplay. It is also a turn-based RPG wherein commands use action prompts from timing bars correctly to smashing multiple buttons to charge up power. All of these attacks are based on gadgets, at least the ones I've seen. The strangest thing about the game is that enemies don't respawn between going in and out of rooms, so to level up, I recommend fighting everything in your path. Based on my limited experience, it feels like something aimed more towards children though, so leveling up or grinding isn't really a main thing that you have to do. That is maybe why it was never picked up for localization. Either way, it's a darn shame, especially since Alpha Dream is now defunct, with this game's rights probably being lost to time. That's kind of a downer note to end on, but cheer up. That's what fan patches and emulation are for, segueing me into signing off until my next video, wherein I will indeed highlight the efforts of those righteous patchers. Did you like that video? If you did, please like, subscribe, and spread the good word of ReActionExaminer. If you want to read more of my stuff, you can find a plethora of my articles over at TheGamer and Game Rant. All of those links and more are in the show notes below. Thanks for watching!